Let's get back to our featured table where Daniel Negreanu is front and center. And Negreanu with Queen 10 offsuit.
I know how badly Daniel wants to win the main event, but I still think he does too many other things. He plays golf. He's got his own blog. He's doing wee bowling. He's scattered.
He does raise it to 3,000. Over to Ryan McLean with pocket aces. He's another Canadian player. He's from Edmonton.
Maybe this is the Canadians' year to win the main event.
A re-raise to 9,000 from the small blind from McLean. So that action back to Daniel now from Toronto. Lives here in Vegas.
I don't really want to, but I kind of have to.
Well, you didn't have to, Daniel. But he did. He calls.
6,000 more. These two Canadians to the flop. It is 5-4 Queen, and that's dangerous. Daniel paired his top card.
You see, Daniel hits top pair, and he's hopelessly behind. That's why he didn't have to.
You know what I think he's got? Aces.
That is uncanny.
I think he's got 2 aces.
What do you do if you're McLean now?
Well, I'm not even sure McLean has aces, and we can
That's
see
what I
his
think,
cards.
McLean, a little more than half the pot. That's 12,000 with his aces.
Well, if Daniel is so sure he has aces, why did he reach for chips?
Ace!
Yeah, he made the call.
Give him an ace over there.
Turn card is a deuce. No help to Daniel. McLean checks this time.
You know, I think Daniel's talk has frozen McLean. Daniel talked his way into a free card.
There's a 5 on the river, and that earns McLean the check mark.
Why would you check aces on the turn? That was such a strange play. You had a straight turn on everything.
If I'm McLean and he's got the best hand, I just want to crawl into a hole. It's like Daniel is flashing a spotlight in your face.
McLean checks it. Daniel checks it out. There you go.
Aces.
I told you I knew what he had. I had a queen.
Wow.
Spooky, man. I was like...
Well, Daniel might have lost the pot, but the respect he won by calling the aces is invaluable. Well, a big crowd here at the Rio Poker Room being treated to some very entertaining poker at this final table. 3 pros and a taxi driver. Mike Sexton with pocket kings. And he's going to raise it up to 22,000.
There were 3 ways to get into the TOC: win a circuit event, make the final table of the 05 main event, or get a sponsor exemption.
Matiso was at that 05 final table. Negreanu and Reslock won circuit events, and Sexton got a sponsor exemption. Negreanu with queen deuce will make the call. Sexton with the advantage going to the flop. The flop 5, 7, 6 rainbow. Sexton's kings keep Daniel in hot water. Daniel checks. And Sexton will slow play the kings to the turn. It's a deuce. Daniel pairs his card. A couple of more outs there for him.
Daniel's still far behind.
But he is going to bet it. 30,000 chips.
Well, for all Daniel knows, his deuces are the best hand right now. Sexton might have just a couple of high cards.
And Sexton's right behind him with the call. River card is another 5. Sexton gets the check mark with kings up. Negreanu will be first to act, and he checks it now. Mike Sexton with kings and 5s bets 50,000. That got Daniel's attention.
He's betting 50,000 into a pot of 110,000. Value betting this baby. Yeah, Daniel's thinking, what can I beat? And, of course, what does he have?
He might have, like, kings, I guess. It's crazy.
He might.
2 kings?
That is unearthly. Daniel might be an alien.
Time and time again, we hear him call out his opponent's cards. He might have x-ray vision.
I just want to see him.
Oh, he was going to pay for the information and make the call.
How scary is this guy?
You have kings?
How scary is this, really?
Yeah, I thought that's the only hand you could have was 2 kings. At least I called it right.
What is that is dabbing it there now?
I didn't have any clue what you had. How's that?
I put him on kings and still paid it off.
That was impressive, though.
That was. Nice read.
Yeah.
I had no clue what Mike
If it was a nice read, I would have threw it away. But actually, no, it was a fine read, because that's the only hand I thought that... Never mind.
Wow.
I just paid it to see if I'm playing good, basically.
Yeah, but you said kings.
Or
If
if I'm
you wouldn't
reading
have
good.
paid it, he would have showed you the
We're talking about that call at the offices all around America tomorrow.
Yeah, give me a confidence boost.
That's why the man was the player of the year.
And an interesting hand, pocket 5s.
This will be good enough to open up for a raise, I suspect. Daniel likes to play a lot of hands.
Good enough to get rid of Youngland and Lederer. Lee Nelson sees 8 deuce and puts it in the trash, quite rightly.
And nobody wants to take on Daniel Negreanu here.
action around to Magnus Persson, the Swede. He's in the big blind, and he decides that there's value enough to make the call, even with 10-8 offsuit.
Well, he does have 2 overcards, luckily for him.
They have both missed that. It's given a gut shot to Persson, but he won't like those spades.
And Daniel Negreanu's definitely going to make a continuation bet here.
It's legitimate for Magnus to put him on the ace. He did bet in early position, but
with a gut shot, it's worth a small call. Well, that may get Persson a free card here.
Daniel gave him an iffy look. He wants to see a river card. So nothing for nobody. And now Magnus bets. Time for Daniel to put his thinking cap on.
Daniel's got a tough call here. You know, he represented the ace, but now, because he checked the turn, it looks as if Persson might have that ace. Tough position for Daniel Negreanu.
Weird. Something doesn't feel right. I don't know.
Magnus trying to look as relaxed as possible, like he's definitely winning this hand.
Daniel Negreanu does know that the story doesn't make sense.
Rule that out. I'm so suspicious, to tell you the truth.
And if Daniel is suspicious, that means he's definitely considering a call here. Wouldn't be surprised at all, one of the great readers in poker, if he made this call. And he does. Correctly so.
Yeah, same idea. It was an all or nothing call. All right, thank you. Good one. Thank you.
Daniel Negreanu knew he was either up against a monster or a complete bluff.
So suspicious for some reason.
All right, let's go back to our featured table at the World Series of Poker, presented by Milwaukee's Best Light. Adam Jones from Sturgis, South Dakota, which is very close to Deadwood, where Wild Bill Hickok was killed playing poker. 7 deuce of hearts.
Wild Bill broke the first rule of poker. Keep your back to the wall.
Daniel Negreanu with pocket 9s. Daniel's going to raise it up to 2,200. Nobody gets a cheap card around here. Peter Antill with pocket 4s.
I'm sorry, did Adam Jones call with 7 deuce?
Of hearts.
Okay, he's playing Lon McCarron poker.
There's David Stuck, a truck driver from Erie, Pennsylvania. King 10 offsuit from the big blind.
Boy, I would say that's a loose call from the big blind.
1,600 more it cost him. Jones, with the raise to him, will call 1,600 more to him.
Jones calls another bet with 7 deuce?
4 to the flop. It is deuce, 4, 6. Antill got just what he was looking for, a set of 4s.
Very nice.
Stuck checks. He's drawing dead. Over to Adam Jones.
Reaching for chips.
Picked up a pair of deuces. He puts in 2,800 chips.
I know Jones used to ride Bronx for a living, so he can be a little reckless, but are we kidding here?
Special with Negreanu after him. Daniel's going to raise it.
10,300.
10,300 more.
Yeah, Daniel likes the flop. It doesn't seem to threaten his pocket 9s.
Antill calls. Stuck folds.
That was a nice smooth call from Antill as Daniel eyed him.
Got to tell Daniel something.
Oh, Jones gets off the horse.
So heads up, Negreanu and Antill. 8 of spades, no help for Daniel, who trails big time.
And Daniel slows down. Lon, he doesn't just have a 6th sense. I believe he has a 7th and 8th sense.
At least. Antill checks also.
Antill will not let him know the strength of his hand.
Another 8 on the river. Antill earns the check mark. And he's got the full boat. Daniel checks again.
I got 15,000.
Make it 15,000 with pocket 6s or pocket 4s. Which one is it?
Wow.
He's the best.
Pocket 6s or pocket 4s, quick.
Take your pick.
Huh?
Take your pick.
It's either one. Can't beat either one, buddy. Pocket 6s, pocket 4s. Which one?
He'll break him.
But why would you check the turn? If you bet the turn, I was just going to fold. I really was. I was just going to give it to him. I mean, he had to have 6s or 4s, but 15,000. There's a gazillion in there. I'm going to fold the second best hand.
He's right.
Daniel is the only player at the table, Lon, who has access to the other player's hole cards.
The amateur had the goods on Daniel, but Negreanu was able to get away from that hand and saved himself a lot of chips with that great read.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you love me.